It's not just the next move for XRP and crypto, it's the next move for the equity market and our stocks as well. It's going to be violent. And I want to make sure that our community is prepared for it because it's the completion of the crypto bear market. And I worry that it's part of a bigger stock market correction that is unfolding before us. We're seeing a glimpse of it this Monday, July 27, 2026, as we get the trading week started. Little bit of encouraging potential peace talks give us a little bit of rally to start as the futures open up. But then this morning, Iran rejects any peace talks taking place. The Houthis continue attacking. And then we're watching as Clarity Act and the drama unfolding in D.C. is potentially stalling up that legislation, which unlocks the next bull run for crypto. So let's break it down. XRP, it's going to be violent. This crypto market, violent. What we're seeing in equities today already, absolute violence in the chart in a whipsaw. Let's get you tapped in, guys. It's Monday. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. And I wanted to start by reading off this tweet, which I think really puts everything into perspective and brings this community together. We have one thing in common, which is we're all trying to save our families, our business, our investments from the inflation that is rampant across this planet and facing every single currency. A new study finds a minimum wage worker in 1971 had purchasing power equivalent to someone earning $100,000 a year today. Since then, soaring housing, healthcare, and education costs have dramatically outpaced both inflation and wage growth. The study argues the debate isn't about Gen Z's work ethic, it's that the economic ladder that built the American middle class has become dramatically steeper. This is what brings us all together. Because whether you've already made your big bags, you got the M's in the bank account, and you're sitting prettier than most, you still have the same concerns, right? The inflation's hitting the poor, the middle class, and the rich. Some are better equipped and in a better position to battle it, right? But you have a problem of M's in the bank account, millions in the bank account that you need to protect. For the person that's trying to build wealth, right? Getting and breaking free, becoming financially free, making enough money, and then being able to invest it in something that preserves that wealth and that capital that you generated. Right? This is a matter of 3 to 5% in the markets. You're barely keeping up with inflation. If we really tracked inflation properly, you're probably still behind. Unless you're making 10% on your money per year, you're probably falling behind. Unless you are making, 50 to 100% more for your wage than you were from 2020, right? If you haven't seen that wage increase, you are being left behind. And so it's a matter of you need to increase your income substantially, and you need to outperform inflation, which means 3 to 5% is not going to cut it. Even 6 to 8%, which has traditionally been celebrated in the equity market, is really not enough to beat inflation. And unfortunately, this is what pushes people further down the risk continuum when making investments and when making decisions. Very unfortunate, but what we try to do right here is to get those investments and get those returns by investing in fundamentals, in value, and utility. And the hard part is the timing, because these things can be delayed. This market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. And so staying liquid, making sure that we can hold our positions, and then eventually our gold and silver took off and outperformed the equity and even some of the crypto market too, right? Gold and silver took the show in 2025. In 2026, it's been the stock market and the AI story. Hats off to it. Love that a bunch of people have made a bunch of money on that. What we take a look at now, though, right, is an AI story that's starting to have a few holes poked in it. We had a big rollover this morning, and we have such a fragile stock market that with one tweet, one statement, one bomb dropping, we wipe out trillions of dollars out of our stock market right now. It is so fragile. Now, when we're looking here at crypto, the politics in DC has absolutely frustrated, and most people are just checked out now because they have lost hope in the people representing us in DC, which is a sad state of affairs. But John Deaton is calling them out. We're calling into Congress. We're calling our representatives, our senators, and we're telling them to get this done now. Right? And we have to continue to push. I saw Stand With Crypto said that they're going to be taking a tally of who's voting for the Clarity Act and not. As I said last week, you go against crypto, you're about to get punished big time. Big time. And that's D, that's R. Speaking of the show that we're playing out here, John Deaton saying that Scaramucci is 100% correct. Now, Anthony Scaramucci just said that Democrats will vote against the Bitcoin Clarity Act, which, by the way, is not a Bitcoin Clarity Act. Don't let the Bitcoin historian misrepresent what this is. Okay, this is the Clarity Act for all of crypto, not just Bitcoin. Silly Bitcoiners. But I'm just trying to show what Scaramucci said, that they're going to reject it. They will do everything they can to block it because he wants it, meaning Trump wants it. When they get back in power, they'll pull a Gensler, and it will be a very, very bad for the industry. There is probably a 40% chance it passes. They are putting party over country. They are trying to kill the bill. We cannot let that happen. And John Deaton echoes the statement saying the Democrats don't want to give Trump a win, period. It's utter, excuse our French, BS. To claim their opposition is over ethics. Everyone knows I'm not a Trump guy, but I love my country. They simply hate Trump more than they love America, and it's both tragic and pathetic. Trump's already made $1.4 billion in crypto without Clarity. He'll continue to make money off of crypto whether Clarity becomes law or not. In fact, the laws as written with ethics would really stop them from being involved in crypto. They just don't want to see the spectacle of him taking a legislative victory lap before midterms. This is the state of America. It's a very sad spot where people want to put D and R before America, before their constituents, before their neighbor. We can't hang out. We can't have a barbecue with our neighbor if they have a D or an R next to their name. I reject that mentality completely. Every American should. That's not a political. The political statement is not getting political about things that shouldn't be shouldn't be partisan. That's what we need to get back to, is passing the Clarity Act, passing legislation. We have people making $100,000 today is equivalent to making minimum wage in 71, which just so happens to coincide when we took our dollar off the gold standard. Gee, I wonder what happened. Right as we take the dollar off the gold standard, 50 years later, somebody making six figures, you're living the standard. You have a little bit more technology. You have Facebook and Instagram to scroll through and a TikTok feed. Congratulations. But you're making the equivalent of a minimum wage worker in 1971. That's not D. That's not R. In fact, for those keeping score at home, the people that are selling out the American people, we have them on both sides of the aisle. And so this is where we reject this partisan BS that's taking place in D.C. We demand that they get the Clarity Act done. But in the meantime, the damages from not getting legislation done are much bigger than President Trump's family made $1 billion. The damages are hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars because of an industry that is already operating and trying to come into regulations, but without it, the bad actors are running rampant. And this is causing significant damage and shutdowns right now. Crypto bear market roundup. And by the way, I believe that some of this was destined to happen. Some of this needs to happen. We've been saying that 99% of crypto goes away. We've been asking for regulations. And so this is a direct result. And it also is healthy too. I would argue that it's actually healthy. It's a cleanse, as I described it yesterday. For bankruptcies and wind downs, we have Movement Labs filing for Chapter 11, Storage Cloud Data Firm, Chapter 11. Bitmart begins winding down operations. Bitmex begins winding down operations. Zapper, orderly wind down after 7 years. Ascendex announces shutdown. For layoffs, Bybit cuts about a third. Gemini lays off 30% after they just did their IPO. Coinbase cuts approximately 700 roles or 14% of staff. BitGo reduces headcount by 15%. Uphold cuts 17% of its global workforce. Matter Labs cuts staff while pivoting fully to institutional privacy platform. Polygon Labs reportedly lays off 60 employees. following its $250 million acquisition. One party that I don't see in there is Ripple. I don't see any Ripple layoffs. I haven't heard of any Ripple layoffs. In fact, the word that we got from Ripple is that they're actually hiring more people working on AI. They haven't reduced headcount because of the bear market. They haven't reduced headcount because of AI. They just continue to grow. But guys, I am terrified right now of what's coming across the timeline right now on Twitter. What I'm talking about is people are reporting that they're having trouble getting out of Bitmart. And I don't want to add to FOMO. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to interject. I'm not making any statements myself. I am just covering this. I'm not making any statements about Bitmart, Bitmex, any platforms. We're just reporting what others are saying. Okay, it's not looking good. Bitmart has processed 0 Bitcoin withdrawals in the last 24 hours. This was posted last night at about midnight, my time, 3 a.m. Eastern, I guess. And so I don't know if they've started back up. Bitmart, I don't know if it started back up, but I put out this tweet just to ask, because we got to work together as a community to protect each other. And I said, has anybody else, had trouble getting out? And I really mean this, I really hope that these wind downs go smooth, that we don't have another FTX style, bank run on exchanges. And I, was reading through the comments here. XRP Baron says, yep, no processing, withdrawals pending. Bitmart basically stopped withdrawals. This guy says, all of my transfers are frozen, can't get any answers from customer service. My funds are still stuck in Bitmart. And so I'm just reading multiple comments and multiple people reporting that they're struggling to get crypto out. Not trying to cause panic, but I am very concerned. Very, very concerned right now. I am, and I by the way, I have a lot more. The context behind this goes a lot deeper. I am very worried about some of these platforms. People are trying to get funds off of platforms, and there's issues that are being reported. I'm not making any statement. I'm reporting what I am seeing and what I am hearing. But you guys let me know, are you guys having any problems getting your funds off of Bitmex, off of Bitmart? Are you guys having any issues over there? Now, while we're speaking on platforms, I do want you guys to, get a word in here from our sponsor, I Trust Capital. I'm just happy that we have found solutions that no longer are the old crypto exchange relationship. Right? I don't really have problems with these centralized platforms because they're putting us in institutional grade custody, segregated accounts with bankruptcy-remote protection. So we already have bankruptcy-remote protection, not waiting for Clarity Act. We're already in segregated accounts, institutional grade custody for free. And when we're dealing with, our sponsor, I Trust Capital, you can pick up the phone, you can deal with US-based customer support. You're not playing this game of trying to get customer support. Is this a legit email or message or in-app message, or how do I talk? It's crazy to me because I just don't even think about this anymore. I don't think about dealing with problems with customer support anymore with these platforms, because the platforms that we use, it's US-based customer support. Pick up the phone. There's no mistaking, are you talking to a real person or not? It's just so straightforward. Institutional grade custody, bankruptcy remote protected. If they blow up, we are not a creditor, right? We are the beneficiary owner of those assets. Full stop, period. And so we can't get FTX'd. We can't get caught up in this nonsense. We don't have to deal with BS customer support tickets and guessing and games and getting scammed. It's just straightforward institutional service, but being provided for retail folks like ourselves. So, at times like this, it just is so comforting knowing that we now have good solutions. And of course, that would one of them would be our sponsor, I Trust Capital here. They're running the $100 funding bonus. Use my link down below. Get your account funded and get that $100 funding bonus. And you can set up 3 different accounts. You can do one. You can do all 3. I've started with the premium custody account. And they have the treasury account for your business, your trust, your nonprofit. And then they also have the IRA product for your retirement funds. You can roll over that 401k. So we have other platforms. We have cold wallets. People have been asking me about cold storage. I have those linked up down below too. I don't put all of my eggs in one basket. I like to diversify. And the good news is that we now have great platforms. They're linked up down below at my website, zachrector.com. And when you use my links, you are supporting the show. So I greatly appreciate that. Now, let's get right in here to AI adoption with the XRP ledger, the agentic economy that's going to be built on the XRP ledger. This is already growing quickly. Okay. So the XRP Ledger Foundation shared this morning. Over 1.5 million agentic payments have been settled on the XRP ledger with the 402 facilitator. Now, if you guys missed it, I already interviewed Chandler Fang. He's the founder of T54 AI, Ripple-backed startup focused on AI, building on the XRP ledger. Go to my interviews playlist on my YouTube channel, and you can get the full interview that I did with Chandler. Great guest, really smart, genius, and very happy to see them building on the XRP ledger. But the amount of agentic payments is growing rapidly. And the head of engineering at RippleX, AO, he was the one that said we could actually go to 10 million here soon, but he's expecting it to go to 100 million over the next few years. So this is growing rapidly. Beautiful setup. With or without clarity, the building, adoption, and the XRP DeFi ecosystem's all coming. So I talked about that over the weekend. I want to be very clear. As I titled this update, I'm expecting a violent drop here soon. And I do believe that we have a bear market that concludes over the next few months between now and the midterms. I'm not calling this a bull run. I'm not saying that we're in a bull run. I'm not trying to do anything other than just provide straight up news and analysis and to give you guys the best alpha and education on how to maneuver and understand these markets. The setup's very clear. With or without the Clarity Act, we go back into a bull run. Whether or not XRP has already bottomed out, whether it's going to bottom out this month or next month, we're going back into a bull run. That's what I'm focused on, is we are absolutely going back into a bull run. So I'm still very bullish, not just on XRP, but our other digital assets with utility. But CasiTrades puts a little bit of technical analysis into our update here this morning. And obviously, I got inspiration for my title from her post right here. XRP's next wave could be violent. Do you see how nicely we're following the purple scenario? She talks about how she highlighted the importance of the $1.09 level we were testing at the time. I explained that would likely provide a smaller reaction for subwave 2, and that's exactly what happened. I also warned that any bounce would likely have a strong rejection, and now price is right back to the macro support. This is a critical time in the market to confirm purple plan to 87 cents. I know you guys are ready. I know you got your buy orders set, and I'm placing my buy orders right above 87 cents. I know everybody's watching Cassie. I know everybody's watching BC Backer. I know everybody's watching these TA gurus, and I have a lot of respect for the work that they put in. I think that, we are all looking to these folks, and you just know that people are piling in those buy orders at 87 cents and at $1. And so I'm getting mine in there as well too. But she says, I believe the next wave is a break towards $1, giving Binance an opportunity to retest its own macro 786 retracement, which is a subwave of wave 3 down. And the subwaves continue to develop as expected and still point towards the 87 cent macro support. It's just a matter of how we get down there. Do we got a few waves down, couple waves down? How violent is the move going to be? The possibility of a violent move is absolutely there, and we need to be ready because it can come and go very, very quickly. You look here at the XRP price chart, you can see where I've been buying. I had my yellow lines here, basically where I'd been positioning my buy orders. So I started buying at $1.33, $1.22, $1.21, $1.07. I have more XRP buy orders getting in here between now and this level down here at $1.01. And then I have another buy order down here at 92 cents on iTrust Capital. And I'm already starting to get buy orders filled as we pulled back over the weekend. Canton, that got filled up at 12 cents. ZBCN on Caleb and Brown got filled up right down here at 0.0019. And so already seeing buy orders getting filled, XRP, XLM, got a few others waiting on the books. And I'm just going to let this play out here. This violent move, this bear market, the bumpy road between now and midterms. I just, I'm not here to tell you that anything to the upside fantastic happens between now and the midterms. It's just not. I'm not going to clickbait you. I'm not going to lie to you. My business model doesn't rely upon me lying to you about XRP Hopium. It's a good spot. It's a good business. All I have to do is provide the truth, facts, data, and bring unique insights and analysis. That's my job. That's my business model. You don't keep tuning in. You don't smack the thumbs up. You don't hype it up. You don't subscribe or hit the notification bell if you don't find this valuable. And so that's my business model. My business model is not lying to you about XRP Hopium, about, oh, the next date, the next go live, the next this. I don't have to play that game. What I get to do is be honest with you guys, which is what I love doing. I love showing up every day and making sure that our community is prepared, because we outlined how bad it is out here. If you're making $100K today, it's equivalent to making minimum wage in 1971. That's what we're all against. That's not DR, left, right, up, down. Who do you love? Who do you believe in? What game are you playing today? The game is survival. And it's really not much of a game, as we're finding out. This is real life, not a joking matter. I try to crack off a few jokes in these updates to keep the spirit lively. But folks, I'm very concerned about our equity market rolling over. I'm very concerned about folks missing the final levels here to pick up XRP under $1, to pick up XLM under 20 cents, to pick up HBAR at 6 cents, to pick up, we go down the list. And then I worry about folks that are just being complacent, letting the stock and equity positions ride out here when the stock and the equity market's been juiced like never before, and the downside risk there is very real. With crypto, we've wiped out most of the leverage. There's not much downside left in crypto. That's the good news. The bad news is that it might take us a few months. The Clarity Act might not pass. The war in Iran might get worse. These are all things that lead to that bear market concluding over the next few months between now and midterms. But I don't care what happens between now and midterms. I don't care if XRP goes to 50 cents. We go back into a bull run here by the end of 2026. The bottom will be back into a bull run. We will be moving back up. Am I going to give you an XRP 2026 price target that's silly? Let's get real. Let's have an honest conversation with ourselves. And let's make sure that we're not caught off sides. We're not over leveraged. We sit back and let this market come to us. Let our positions fill up, de-risk off of positions that we need to de-risk from. Make sure we got cash flow. Make sure we're taking care of our family. We're taking care of our health. Mentally, we're dialed in, because it's bumpy between now and midterms. On the other side, our markets get juiced again. The inflows come to crypto again. And I think that you guys are going to be thanking yourself for taking advantage of the price levels and the buy orders that you guys are getting filled up right now. So if you appreciate our content, like it, hype it, share it. I got another video right here, subscribe button right here, ZachRector.com for everything else. God bless.